I always knew that a visit to the asylum, I always had a very, much more than the others, a very clear vision of the look, the visual look. This one is wacky. I mean, it's just very differently shot than the others. And one of my big ideas, as Ben knows, because it probably drove him crazy, was to start everything off level, and then once all the chaos begins, we tilt everything off center so that it's just confusing. And as things become more clear, we start moving straight again. And it really comes out in the episode, and it's really cool if you look for it. So I wanted to ask Ben how you managed to pull that off and what it took for you to do that.
With a lot of humor, because I would often come to you and say, "Oh, are we 27 degrees or 23 degrees?" I had mostly the camera was on a small glide cam, so I just canted it however I needed it. And eventually, scenes where we're on tripods, we Dutched and kept it together. And I think it first starts out handheld, and in that examination room,
Yes.
we jump lenses to a 14 millimeter to a really super wide lens, and that seemed to be a really good introduction to the whole theory of the off center.
That hospital scene, is special to me because it was kind of how I came up with the whole idea. And it's just so chaotic, and it's handheld, and it's really scary. I think, in a psychological way, it's scary. I know you guys had this whole choreography with Pat. We went over it, and you guys nailed it before we shot it. And every time we pretty much ran through the whole thing. Maybe I'll start with Ben about what it was like to shoot that. And I remember even your feet it's still in one of the shots, because
Yes.
you're doing it from a point of view of Steven.
At first I thought, oh, this room is a little too empty, it won't look so good. But we had such great motion and movement and choreography, covered up everything, looked great.
Yeah. Cole, do you have anything stand out for you for that scene?
Just kind of what Ben was saying. It was so much fun. I had never really done anything like that, and film is so crazy because it's like we all kind of just met each other, and then you have to dive in right away and do this whole like pretty intimate. We're freaking out. We have movements. We're chasing people. We're diving on the floor. So I just remember like having a lot of fun and working with really great people that made it not easy, but made it clear what we were supposed to do and where we were supposed to be. So it was great.
I just really like the hospital. I thought that was it was I don't think anybody knew, but while I wasn't shooting, I would go wander around, and I actually wandered into some of the other rooms that weren't being used, and I could stand it for about 2 minutes, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. I gotta go. Okay, I gotta get out of it. So that was, the setting was like the most fun.
I remember it being one of the more physical scenes, so it kind of reminded me of being back like on stage, so to speak. But it was funny being so intense and having that camera right up in my face. I felt like, wow, he really likes these intense spaces. Every time Ben had the camera right up in your face, well, you may as well be intense because, you have to do what's right for your son. And then he would chase us when we were running outside. And I thought to myself, wow, it's a good thing I have like rubber soled shoes on because I don't want to slip in this hospital. But it was a really physical scene. And it was a lot of fun to really just go through and watch the process.